Yeah, 3BA HE, this is M0JCF. Could you QSY up 10 kilohertz, please, Paul?
Kilohertz. I'll try and manage that, 3BA HE.
Three B8 HE M0JCF, calling 3B8 HE. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Yeah, from 3 Bravo 8. Good afternoon, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. There's in this part of the world, there's a sweeping signal. Signal sweeps up and down the band about every 5 seconds, 10 seconds, every now and then. And it just swept past and knocked you out with the HEC. So I could do with your full call sign again. But you're a strong signal. Very good afternoon. My name is Paul Papa Alpha Uniform Lima. I'm running 500 watts to a Moxon rectangle. Currently beaming towards Europe. And I'll give you a signal report next time round. 3 Bravo 8, Hotel Echo.
Yeah, 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. It's Mark in Sidcup in Kent, Paul. I just heard your last QSO, and I thought, so if I know that voice, I know that I know the call sign. And when I check my logbook, we have worked since 2023. We have worked 6 times before, and it looks like that every time you've answered my CQ call. So I thought to myself, I'm going to jump on this man and give him a fright. But I knew you was handing the frequency over to the other person, and I thought to myself, well, if I ask you to go up 10, that'll be easier. But I know you wanted to go QRT. It's just that I've worked you. The last time I worked you was actually at the beginning of October when I was using an FT817 and just 30 watts. But today I'm on the IC-7300. But you're peaking 5 and 5 to me, Paul. Hopefully that wasn't too much of a long over, and I've lost you on QSB or something. 3B8 HE, this is M0JCF.
Yes, okay, I'm Mark, M0JCF, 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo, on the island of Mauritius. And yeah, nice to work you again. And I hope you've got slightly better weather there than the station in the Midlands had us check into a moment ago. Over here it's outside, it's around about 30. It'll be cooling off a little bit soon, coming towards the end of the afternoon. It'll be beginning to fall. Temperature will go down to about 25, 26 overnight. But it's quite pleasant. Yeah, I was going to disappear, but nice to hear you. And yeah, okay, on your 7300. Pretty all the same signal actually, 5 and 5, that sort of signal strength, 5 and 4, 5 and 5. A lot of QSB. Well, if I use distortion with the change in propagation. But a very, very nice signal indeed, Mark. So nice to see you again from Sidcup. You could just remind me the antenna you're using. I'm sure you said. I was probably preoccupied getting full in the log. This reminded me of the antenna you're using, Mark. M0JCF, 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo.
Yeah, 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox returning. Yeah, I'm using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, Paul. It's one I always use on 10 and even 12 meters. It's just an old silver rod CB antenna from probably, well, I've had this one 8 or 9 years up. But obviously they were very, very popular in the 70s and 80s. And I've got it up there for convenience, really, for the 10-meter band. It's quite unobtrusive compared to a lot of DX antennas. You know, I just haven't got the property to put up a beam or anything. Although I do keep threatening to put a Moxon up where my 2-meter, 9-element 2-meter beam used to be. I've still got the rotator and the mast is still up. but you know, we've all got station managers and we have to keep them happy. So yeah, the vertical will have to do just for now. But that's the antenna that I'm using. And the weather today, it's miserable here, probably about 12 degrees. It's quite mild for the time of the year, but yeah, it's been raining on and off this morning. My wife and I went out to breakfast earlier, and when we came out of the establishment, and yeah, it was pouring down and we wasn't dressed for it. So all good fun and games with English weather. 3BAHE M0JCF.
Yes, okay, fine, Mark. 3 Bravo 8 Hotel Echo returning to you. And solid copy, solid copy. The sweeping signal came across you a couple of times, but it didn't have any disastrous effects this time. I think that, well, I'm sure you're well aware of in this part of the world there are a number of cell-based installations in the middle of various parts of the ocean that obviously use high power signals and etc. So this one just sort of sweeps through every now and then. It didn't knock you out this time. Right, well, 12 degrees is not too bad, is it? At least it's good 12, not minor. And it is mild, feeling okay, that's great. In Manchester, I was chatting to him earlier on in the day, and I did suggest that he might try and I've spoken to several people who use those, and we can get very good information from G-Land over to here. We're just 100 watts on the CB antenna, so you don't need to have, as you say, all the real estate for these antennas. You can do an awful lot with support. If you try hard, you get some really, really good DX. From the kind who no restricted power, they're the first charge light switch. You work all around the world on low power. It's now got a full license, but yeah, it has a great deal of fun. So even on low power and a simple antenna you can do it. You've got the higher power. There we go, rambling on. Nice to hear you again, Mark. I'll set up with the screen. I'll go back down and the station mentioned the cappuccino. That sounds like a great idea, so I'll get myself on the road. I'll push some buttons on the middle. Until next time, that's M0JCF in Centre. 900 watts, TV vertical. Nice to work here, and until next time, we'll
Yeah, 3BAHE M0JCF. Okay, Paul, absolutely fantastic to work you again. I really appreciate you shifting up 10 kilohertz as well, so that we could just briefly say hello. And well, I say briefly, it was a nice 10-minute conversation. But I think the very first time I worked you, it was actually with QRP as well. I remember that I'd worked Greece, then Saudi Arabia, then you called me, and then after you, somebody in Queensland, Australia called me, and or was it might have been Western Australia, I can't remember now, but I know I had a good morning and we did lots of QRP working. I think we maybe got down to about 10 watts with yourself. Anyway, I won't ramble on, I'll let you get that cappuccino. As I say, I do appreciate your time, and the propagation is also dropping off as well. You've gone from a good 5 and 5 down towards like a 4 and 1, so probably a good time to call it a day. Okay, I'll try and speak to you before Christmas, but if not, have a great one, and I'm sure I'll work you in 2026 before cycle 25 disappears on 10 metres. Good luck, good DX, and 73 to everyone around you. Bye bye, Paul. 3BA HE M0JCF 73.
ACS called. Very briefly, if you want to go ahead on. Station ending ACS. Bravo 8 Hotel Echo. You're talking to Paul, and
called you as soon as Paul signed, but he went on to somebody else, and you couldn't have heard me. There was no pause left for me to get my call sign over to you, and the request to QSY. Never mind, we found each other. Oh, I found you. You found me. Name is Brian. Brian with an I, B-R-I-A-N, and the location is Lusaka. It's about a 5 on 5, about 5 by 5 in the city of Lusaka this afternoon. It is sunny and hot, about 33 degrees C, and rather humid. Stripped to the waist in a pair of shorts. I'll put a shirt on if I have to go out, but otherwise I shan't bother. M0JCF. No, I don't remember the name.
Yeah, 9 Juliet 2 Bravo Oscar, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Yeah, it's Mark Brian, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, Sid Cup in Kent. And you know what? As soon as I heard you calling my call sign and then your call sign, I thought, I know who that is. I recognised the voice. It was a bit like Paul. I always recognise Paul's voice and Paul's call sign. And I thought, 9 Juliet 2 Bravo Oscar, I know that's Zambia, and I'm pretty sure it's Brian. And do you know what, Brian? I remembered your surname as well, because obviously the surname is very distinctive. And you're 5 and 5 to me, Brian. 5 and 5. I'm not sitting on an exact frequency. I'm on 28,519.8, and I think you probably chose that because that's the frequency Paul was sitting on, 5 kilohertz down, or whatever it was. So yeah, just in case I sound off frequency. As I say, I'd finished speaking to Paul. I then decided to do something. I was sitting in the loft just doing something, and out of the corner of my eye I could hear Paul talking to someone, and I saw this line appear. I'm using the IC-7300 today, and I saw this line appear, and I thought, he's the same sort of signal strength as Paul. Let's just have a quick look and see who it was. And lo and behold, I heard my call sign. The first thing I thought, Brian, was somebody was pirating my call sign, and then I heard that like he was calling me, and then your call sign, and I thought to myself, like a bit of a panic to make sure I was dead on frequency before I lost you on QSB. I was glad to hear you've got the good weather down there. We've got rain today. It's about 12 degrees Celsius. We've got rain, but I too am still in shorts. I'm giving me legs a good airing this year, so I'm still in shorts. It's not freezing cold yet. I don't need to cover them up, and they don't look bad for a pair of legs that are 63 years old. So we're keeping them out. Anyway, let's see if we've still got you, and we haven't lost you on the QSB. 9 Juliet 2 Bravo Oscar Brian down in Lusaka. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot Mark in Sidcup in Kent.
Yes, okay. M0JCF 9J2BO. Okay, well, my line voltage is down. Not as bad as it was. My line voltage is about 200 volts. So it's okay, it's up to about 400 watts output. And the transceiver is an old CS440 sugar. There's two TS5 transceivers, both of them have gone US. So Back to those people. That hasn't given me any trouble at all. Well, apart from the ATU. The ATU doesn't work anymore, so then I don't need it. And yes, one of the dial lamps behind the meter that has gone, which is a bit of a nuisance. I like to be able to see the meter, and at night I can't see the meter. But then I don't go on at night anyway. No big deal. It works, which is more than I can say for the two TS-590s that are sitting waiting to be waiting for someone to come down to South Africa for repair. One of them has already been down there once, so I had to get out of it. And it took 9 months to get it repaired, and after a month of working well, it went off again. Both problems on the transmit side. There's the TS4, an IC-7300. There's one for sale. I didn't think about it, because it is here. But I'm not really keen on all these cut screens and full colour displays and all that sort of stuff. I like a more straightforward rig than one with all these bells and whistles. I can do without memories. I don't need those. I don't need there's so many things. I just need a basic rig with a good receiver. It doesn't have to be sensitive because my noise level is incredibly high. So it might help if it isn't very sensitive. It's not the name of the game, but there you go. M0JCF 9J2BO.
9J2BO M0JCF. Well, do you know what, Brian? I'm like you. I do prefer the older radios. I've got the modern radio just because it's nice to have. And one of the reasons I'm using it, funnily enough, is because all my old radios have all broken at the moment. It's interesting. I've been using the IC-7300 since Friday, because on Friday I had my restored Fox Tango 101 Echo, an old analog hybrid radio. Just had it restored, and I was using it, and all of a sudden the power dropped from just 100 watts on 10 meters to about 20 watts, and I could smell something hot. Now, it's a hybrid. You expect them to be hot and you expect them to smell hot, but I decided to go through the tune-up procedure again. So I stopped CQing, went into tune, adjusted the carrier level, and I noticed that the standby current for for the radio should be 60 milliamps, and the standby current was 0. But when I gave it some carrier and decided to key up to retune, the transmit collector current on the valves was through the roof, well over 300 milliamps, and it should be a lot lower than that. And that's when I really got the smell, and bang, the fuse went in the back. So it turns out what it looks like has happened is the fan failed on the back of it, and there was a thermal runaway. So there may have been a cascade effect. It may be a lot more damage. Hopefully not. Hopefully I wasn't, you know, trying to tune up or transmit for too long while there was this runaway with the collector current. But yeah, so that one I probably would have been using today had that not happened just before the weekend. The other radios that I've got a couple of TS-830Ss by Kenwood. I've got two of them, and they're both a bit sad at the moment. One needs the screen grid resistors replacing, and the other one I think maybe power supply capacitors again. But I know our first contact, I was using the TS-830S, so very keen to get that one back, or one of them back on the air. I've also spoken to you using my old 757 Golf X-Ray, so I've had many of those. They're a beautiful radio, they are. But like you know, it's knobs, it's switches, it's buttons, and as you say, I don't use memories or anything like that. This IC-7300, you know, as fantastic as it is, I don't believe I use enough of the features. I've got it pretty much set up as I want it, so I've gone into a lot of the menus and set it up the way that I want to set it up, so I probably don't have to go into a lot of the menus. The band scope, you know, the waterfall is just nice to have, almost like looking up stations on the DX cluster or something online. So, you know, I don't need it. I mean, all my other radios, some of them don't even have, you know, a digital display. So, you know, I don't need the features. Just very nice to have. But like you, Brian, I do prefer the old radios. Your signal's popping in and out on the QSB. You're peaking 5 and 5, and then you're dropping down to sort of 5 and 1, but not unreadable or anything as of yet. Now, I've just done a long over, and that could be the devil, couldn't it? The long over is the one that can kill it, and you unkey and find out nobody's there anymore. 9 Juliet 2 Bravo Oscar Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox.
Yes, this frequency is in use. Thank you for asking. Juliet Charlie Fox 9J2BO. I certainly had a lot of radios, Mark. Fine. So I like your TS-590. When it works.
Frequency's in use, sir. Frequency is in use.
It's a very fine radio. I've not had much luck with it. With them, the two. So, the same silent key source of the IC-7300. There's also a TS-590. But I'm hesitant, having had no luck with the previous two 590s. I'm sort of hesitant to go ahead and get another TS-590. I've got a little IC-706 Mark 2G, whatever it is. Now that was a bargain. I got that for $175, and it was only about a year old. But I hardly used it at all. It's been switched on, mostly on receive. Hardly ever used it for transmit. But the dial, not the dial, what do you call it? The display, that's right, the display is going black. So it needs repairing. But I probably will not bother. As I use it so little. I never used it on 70 centimetres. I never heard anybody on 70 centimetres. But 70 centimetre antenna in, you're not likely to hear anything. I've used it on 2 metres, but I mean, there's only a couple of stations here on 2 metres, and they're not on now, so there used to be quite a bit of activity here in Lusaka on 2 meter FM. In the days before mobile phones, we used to use 2 meters quite a lot to keep in touch with each other and with home. But not these days with cell phones. Okay, noise level terrible, absolutely terrible. The LF bands are totally useless from my QTH. I used to do very well on 40 meters, but not now. I can't hear anything on 40 meters. So I'm 80 now. I'm 80 years of age, and I'm reluctant to move. And maybe if I did move, the noise level would be just as bad. I just don't know.
Yeah, 9J2BO, M0 JCF returning. Well, interesting, the 590, the 590S, Brian. I've had one, and it was my first DSP radio. And to be honest, with the modern noise that we now get, the modern QRM, I actually found it very, very a useful upgrade. Now, the radio I had before was the TS450. Now, I know you're having problems with them, so you're probably reluctant to buy more Kenwoods, but to be honest, I think they're a lot more modern radio, probably a bit younger than the older ones. They're all the reasons why I think they're probably more reliable. They learn from their mistakes, maybe, possibly. I used the DSP function. I found it very, very good noise reduction on the Kenwood 590S. So it's I can't say go and buy one, and then obviously you bought it and then it breaks straight away. You'll be looking for me with a noose. But I found it very, very good. As I say, the DSP especially, when the QRM was getting particularly bad, I found it very, very useful. So that would be my plus side for getting the TS590S. They've got a very good, very fast auto tuner in them. And so that would be my take on it. 70 centimetres, well, I do know that where I live, if I call CQ on 70 centimetres FM, I will get replies. My 2 metre antenna is actually it's a collinear, it's a dual band, so it works well on 70 sems as well. But yeah, locally I will get replies on 70 centimetres. We of course have quite a few 70 centimetre repeaters around us, so useful for that. I tend not to use 2 metres or 70 centimetres anymore anyway, but I do know that it is used. 70 centimetres SSB are very, very rare, apart from competitions once a month. I never hear anyone on SSB CQing. You sometimes hear the Europeans when there's a lift on. You can hear the Europeans on 70 sems. 2 metres, a bit more active, and you'll always get a reply. If you call CQ on 2 metres, always get a reply. Always lots of networks in the evenings on 2 metres and weekends. 2 metres SSB, you can generally get a reply, but once again, you'll definitely get replies on competition evenings, and when there's a lift on, you can work a big chunk of Europe with quite modest antennas. But as I say, I took my I think I was telling Paul this, I've taken my 2 metre 9 element LFA down. It just wasn't getting used enough, so the pole and the rotator is still there, and I'm just considering building myself a 10 metre band Moxon antenna. So I've got a bit of a beam up there, just to use the pole and the rotator. The rotator that I've got is the Kenpro KR400, and it's just sitting there doing nothing at the moment, so I should make good use of it. And you mentioned something else, but now I've rambled on so long, I've forgotten what you were saying. I'm definitely getting old, Brian. 9J2BOM0JCF.
Just okay, Mark, just stand by. Who is the G4, the George 4? Yes, now, where did I write your call to? Oh dear. Is it G4OBB? Yeah, my name is Brian. Brian with an I, and I'm in Lusaka, the capital city. And you're just stronger than Mark, it's sort of 5.627, and thanks for the 5.9. Okay. Desmond, Des. And what was the name of the town? I've got Essex. I'm not very familiar with the south of England. Yeah, what's the name of the town? Yes, okay. Yes. Yes, okay. Alton on the Naze. Well, I have come across it before. But, really, I'm so sorry. My own country's geography. I've been living out here 59 years. I've spent far more than half my life, or even 2/3 of my life out here. Not that I'm very good at Zambian geography either. Okay, Des. Let me see if Mark is wanting to rush away. M0JCF, what are you still there, Mark? Over?
Yeah, 9J2BOM0JCF returning. Yeah, I'm still here, mate. And I can just hear Des. I think he would be about a 2-1 to me. He's a 2-1. So if you just tell him that I'm in Sidcup in Kent, he's a 2-1. I won't try to contact him because they're far too weak to be having a conversation. Yeah, well, I wasn't rushing away. Obviously, I was going to go after speaking to Paul down in Mauritius. I was going to disappear, but because you were good enough to call me, that's why we got stuck into this lovely QSO, which has lasted well over 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It was quite surprising. So, the propagation had been fantastic. But I'll tell you what, I'll let Des have a go now. I'll let Des bend your ear roll. As I say, I know that, we're regular contacts, Paul, and, you know, I'm sure that we'll work again. Be great to work you just before Christmas, so I can give you the season's greetings. But if not, not a problem. I'm sure we'll pick up again in 2026. So what I will say, Paul, is oh sorry, Brian. I'm getting you mixed up with Paul now. What I will say is, you know, have a great seasonal time. We're just coming up to November now, so you know, then we'll be into December, and before you know it, it will be Christmas, and it'll all be over, and we'll be starting the new year. So have a great time anyway, whatever it is you're doing. If you hear me CQing, please jump on board and say hello. And yes, I heard the station from, well, he was saying Ola Ola. That doesn't mean he was Spanish, but we have had some sporadic E this morning, so I also informed him that the frequency was in use. And then he vanished. So he may not have heard you, but he may have heard me. But I never heard him anymore after that. So I'll let you have a conversation with Des the G4, and we'll catch up again. But really fantastic that you QSY'd and then called me. And as I say, absolutely stunning and astonishing that I actually saw out the corner of my eye the signal pop up. I just wondered who it was, and lo and behold, you were calling me. I mean, that is serendipity at its best, if ever there was some. Take care. 73 to everyone around you, Brian. Look forward to the next time. Don't be a stranger. Good luck, and I'll say bye-bye for now. Let you have the frequency back to Des. Good luck, old friend. Bye-bye for now.
Okay, bye-bye for now, Mark. Des, are you still there? Yeah, I'm losing you, Des. Mark was still coming through very well, but you're gone way down, and you were stronger than Mark when you called in. So, okay, we may have worked all about me from QRZ.com. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I'd better not hold it. I was going to have a longer conversation with you, but your signal's dropped. It's still just readable, but not comfortable copy. G4OBB 9J2BO.